Hey guys, it's Logan again, and I'm going to talk about roles and role shifts today. We as occupational therapists define roles as the following: set behaviors expected by society and shaped by culture and context that may be further conceptualized and defined by the client. So, to make a little bit more sense out of that, an example of a role that I currently have is a student intern in a community mental health placement. So, as a student, my in that rotation, my roles would be going out and doing occupational therapy, learning how to do occupational therapy in the community with individuals who have mental health. So, what I'd like for all of you guys to do now is to take a moment and write down maybe 5 roles that you guys had prior to the lockdown or coronavirus. So here's a list of the roles that I have. As I kind of already talked about, I'm a student OT intern. I'm a son, so I have a role to my family, kind of helping out. Usually that role involves going over and cleaning the gutters at least once or twice a year and cleaning out the chimney. So I'm soon to be married, so I have a lot of relationship roles that I have to fulfill around the house, and those roles have been expanding with everything that's going on and will continue to expand once we do get married. I'm a brother, so I have to fulfill roles with him, and I have a role as a friend. So now that you have your list in front of you, take a little bit of time here to consider how these things have changed given the current circumstances. Okay, so now that you guys have kind of had a little bit of time to think about how your roles have changed since the recent coronavirus and having to stay at home, I'd like to provide a few examples of myself just to let you guys know you're not alone. So one of the examples, obviously, is that my rotation was ended a little early, so they ended the face-to-face communications I have with people. So I went from sort of being a community occupational therapist where I would see patients in their home to presenting information to the community in this style, which has definitely been a bit of a learning curve, having to film videos, edit it and everything, but I'm still acting as a student occupational therapist and an intern. However, my delivery of information is just different. So that's one way my role has changed. And another kind of funny story about how my role has changed. So as you guys know, the barbershops and beauty shops have been closed, and I wanted a haircut. So I have a set of buzzers and clippers in my bathroom, and I thought it would be a good idea yesterday to start giving myself my own haircut with the buzzers and clippers. And it was going well. About 3/4 of the way through, the clippers died. And I was like, okay, no big deal. Nobody's going to see me out in public, whatever. So I plugged them back in, and they wouldn't turn back on, and I, for the life of me, couldn't get it to work. So I did what any person would do. I went to my fiance and I was like, hey, these clippers broke and my hair's half cut. So she did her best of trying to make everything evened out with scissors. So she has the role now of being my personal barber. So that's another example of how roles have changed. So as we sort of already talked about, people's roles are changing drastically day to day and even changing several times throughout the day. So for example, 1 minute you might be working, and then the next minute you might have to switch roles, and you might have to be a mom, or you might have to help teach your kids something because they're having trouble with something at school. So having to switch between these roles so quickly becomes stressful. So I put together 3 ways to handle these drastic role switches and role changes that people are experiencing every day now. So the first tip that I have is to avoid multitasking. So although we're capable of dividing our attention between 2 different things, our performance on task greatly suffers if we aren't just dividing or putting all of our attention into one thing. So a good example I can think of that is maybe you're on the phone trying to handle something for work or with someone else or one of your many other roles that you have while trying to handle something else that's going on in your immediate environment. When you're splitting your attention between those 2 tasks, your performance on one of those 2 tasks will inevitably suffer. So the second tip that I have is to set specific start and end times between your roles. So we kind of talked about that a little bit yesterday, and the importance of having a set schedule. And if you have a set schedule, you'll know, okay, at this time I'm going to be done working and I can go back to spending time with my family. And if you do have these set schedules, you will be able to maybe work a little bit of time in between, so you can give yourself maybe like a 10-minute break after work to kind of get yourself out of that mindset of I'm working from home, and then get yourself into the mindset of, okay, now it's time to spend time with my family. It's time to be or fulfill my role as a father, a mother, a brother, all the other roles you have. Giving yourself a little bit of time in between those role switches by setting a specific schedule will help you there, and it will definitely prevent some stress. And the last way I have of handling these drastic role changes and role switches is taking care of yourself and giving yourself mental health breaks. So trying to balance roles that are constantly changing in this uncertain environment is very stressful. You really need to give yourself time to take a little break, take a walk, read a book, or call a friend. It's so easy to get overwhelmed and stressed out when you're constantly switching roles and you're trying to fulfill so many things at once in an environment and at times that are just very uncertain. So definitely want to take care of yourself in these times. Do some of the things that we've talked about, do some of the other things that are in the video series that we have here, and just take care of yourself as your roles keep switching. So that's all I have for today. I will see you guys again tomorrow, and thank you for watching.